The bigger problem, honestly, talk politics, Joe Biden can't sell. He's the worst salesman.
Just going to say that. I'm like, if things have gotten better during this administration, why does everybody still say, the economy's so bad? Like,
it's interesting how you've been positioned online, and I think I felt guilty to it. Like, you come out here, you're kind of like, you're saying Kamala wants to do some good stuff, but you're also saying that she's not good at communicating this. Obviously, you're shitting on Trump. You're saying Elon's the greatest entrepreneur ever, but you know, like, I think you're actually quite fair. I'm glad that you're sitting here because I think the positioning of you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there's, money maybe behind this, but the positioning of you is that I'm sure there's political benefit in positioning you as a radioactive operative.
By somebody else at me. Yeah.
No, I think it basically
me benefiting.
No,
to
your detriment.
Like yeah.
I ain't getting shit out of it.
No, you're just getting hated online.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is, like, if you have legitimate criticisms of the opposition, they have to make you radioactive that they can cut your legs out from under.
Yeah, that's a
because
fact.
if a guy like you is coming out and speaking some good, I think powerful truth, all of a sudden they got to go, we got to fucking react to this. Yeah. We can't just go, oh, he hates me.
Right.
That's the easiest
that's what they
version
say.
of silence. Exactly. I don't know. I'm just trying to say, I think it was helpful to hear you out, but I interrupted you. Go.
What was I talking about? Oh, sales, right?
Yeah, Biden. So
oh my God, it drove me crazy. So, like, put aside him, like, kind of losing. And by the way, having talked to him multiple times, I think it really just accelerated over that period of time. He wasn't like, but put that aside. That's already in the past. But, like, you know how they say sell the sizzle, not the steak?
I've never heard that term. But
you never have?
That's great.
Yeah, you sell the sizzle. You don't sell the fire. Fucking Biden sells the steak. He's going to tell you where the cow was born, what the fucking cow's name was, and how many, whatever. And he's going to talk about everything but the sizzle. He just couldn't sell. And they were pissed because I said that one time before, and they were pissed at me. Just somebody I knew, but that's the truth. He can't sell shit. And if they could sell, then we'd be having completely different conversations. Now, Kamala has been doing this 50 days now, when she stepped in. There's a process where she's got to learn to do it. It's just, when you went to working for yourself, doing a podcast is different than a comedy tour.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you have different things and you have to learn.
Yeah. It was just peculiar to see.
Can I steal this?
Yep. That's for
your
you.
water. Oh, okay.
It's just peculiar to see this immense support for her out of nowhere, like when she hadn't even said anything. I think a lot of people are like, finally, she's here. She's our hero. And I think the knee-jerk reaction to anybody who at least tries to be like unbiased when it comes to the election is, why the fuck are you excited? She hasn't even said anything. She isn't Biden. And I think there was some relief with that.
100%. Yeah.
And I think if I viewed it as relief and not, she's the one true savior for us all, I think I could have accepted it way more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was bothered that there was no platforms on her website for a month, 2 months, whatever. No like beliefs, nothing on it. Just hey, donate,
so much
buy
excitement.
merch.
Well, so two things there.
Yeah.
Okay. So one, she did come out and she was the anti-Trump, not in terms of what she said about him, but just as opposed to I hate Taylor Swift, joy, right?
Yeah.
Positivity, which I think is important.
Yeah.
If you're going to try to bring people together, that's what you have to do, and I forgot the second part I was going to say. But
DNC, maybe the speech.
No. Okay, you're right. You're right. So the second part of that is if you all of a sudden just take over a company.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, let me take one step back. Everybody who's ever worked for a company thinks they're smarter than the boss and would do it differently than the boss. So when people say, well, why isn't she the same as Biden? Like everybody else, you're going to do things different than your boss if you take over. But like now you take over and you can't just have everything in place. It wasn't like she was planning on running for president.
Exactly.
All of a sudden, it was just like, bam, you're the one. You got to go out there. And she, fell back on what she does best. She gives the speeches. She gets everybody happy. She gets everybody fired up. And then she started putting the pieces together, which makes sense.
It's interesting about like taking over a company or even like getting a new player on your team. Like I'm a Knicks fan my whole life, right? Yeah. Any new guy we get, the whole city is, nah, he's the truth. He's actually underrated. He's going to take us to a
everybody's
champion.
about their team, right?
So I wonder.
Here comes Cat, right?
Exactly. Shout out, Cat. We love you. You're the greatest. And
I think that was a good move, by the way.
Yeah.
Great move.
Yeah.
Great move. But there is that excitement when you've already committed to the team. I guess because I haven't committed to a team. I don't consider myself either one. So there's no reason for me to be excited. But if you are someone who's like, I identify as a Democrat, I'm voting Democrat every single time.
That's a huge plus.
She's cat.
Yeah, she's cat.
She's cat. Yeah. We had
Not
this
cat.
person.
Cat.
We had this person that was not inspiring at all, and all of a sudden there's new leadership.
Bam.
Our team is going to be successful again.
Right, 100%. And now she's starting to talk, and they're like, it's going to be great. I'm going to come in and we're going to do things right. We're going to figure it out. I'm going to learn the playbook. Yeah. And so she's the new coach coming in.
Yeah, it was like low expectations, and she over-delivered. She did great in that first debate. And now all of a sudden people are like, wait a minute, I was excited and now I'm not let down? Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay,
exactly.
This could work out.
Because
and look, she's still got more things to do.
Before Biden had that bad debate, like she did not know she was running. So I think if she would have just like jumped out there with policy and doing a whole bunch of interviews, she would have had way more missteps than if
she probably would have taken it from Biden. And the one thing she should not have been and isn't is fucking Biden.
Yeah.
But she has a tough time going, I disagree with him on that.
Well, because it's your boss.
Yeah, and he's still
the boss.
In office. That is another thing. She can't say, yeah, he's fucking up because you're there co-signing it. Yes. So you got to co-sign the boss even though you're about to come in and kind of flip it. So that is a delicate
border,
balance.
Right? She's fucking changing everything on the border.
Oh, really?
What is she saying?
Yeah, what is he? Yeah, you're right there. You're letting him in.
Yeah, I'm letting him in.
Someone's got to build a stadium.
Right?
Go.
He's like,
you got Lucas brothers to do that shit, right?
No shit.
he's like, any of them over 7 feet, you know?
Can you play? I don't care where you're from. Can you play? Oh, my Lord.
No, why is she being harder on the border?
Yeah, because like, Biden fucked up there again.
Yeah.
You know, he went, and I think a lot of this had to do with Bernie and Elizabeth Warren, where they were kind of like the trifecta together, and they fucked up opening up the borders. They were just too open.
Yeah.
And I actually, here's my take on Elon Musk on this, right? Yeah. I think Elon Musk comes across online as an immigration troll.
Yeah.
But I think what he really thinks, I'm guessing, is that because he's an immigrant, he thinks when just people are flooding across the border and people hate those people, it brings on hate to all immigrants. And I think that really is what is underneath his hate for them, that he doesn't really hate them, but it's just like, you're bringing on hate. All this shit is bringing on hate for me and my family and who I am.
So there are people who worked hard to legally immigrate here, and they're getting a lot of this hate.
Made look bad. Yeah. And I think that's part of why, you know, some Latinos and, you know, other, foreign nationalities, right, that are here legally are looking.
Oh, they're supportive of it because they're like, I'm getting all this backlash.
Right. And I think that's kind of Elon's way. And I think Kamala recognized that. I really, really do. Now, I haven't had this conversation with her team on it, but I think, you know, and I think Biden was late to the party to figure it out. And so he opened the gates too much, and she had to play along because that's the boss, and that's supposed to.
Why would they open the gates? And I understand there are some certain.
They didn't open them, right? Yeah. But they, you know,
they were looking the other way.
Yeah. Just didn't do as good a job as they could.
Yeah.
And nobody thinks they did a great job.
But you hear all these conspiracies about. And this could be like absolute nonsense. But you hear these conspiracies like, oh, they want to let in all these people so they can eventually vote. I've looked it up. They cannot vote.
They cannot vote. That's Elon's trolling.
So that is obviously
that's just trolling. Yeah,
but is it that like one day their children will have more empathy with the party that allowed them to be here, and maybe they would have voted in that direction?
It didn't work for Obama if all these people now are not voting for her.
Right.
You know, it's just...
So what would be the justification for it? What is it?
Just so think about why somebody leaves their country.
Yeah.
They don't leave because every day's a holiday in fucking paradise.
Yeah.
They leave because something's fucked up for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't care who you are. There's got to be a part in your heart that says, if you know you're in Haiti and there are gang wars and people you know are getting macheted to fucking death.
Yeah.
I'm okay if you figure out how to get over here.
Yeah.
And so I think that was the sentiment, but then it went too far. There's a point of diminishing returns where you have to say, yes, you know, I feel for them and I want to help them, but this is not the right approach to do.
And there may have also been some people taking advantage of that empathy. People who are not in dire situations,
who
are like, hey, I'm going to catch a lick right here.
Yeah, for sure.
It's easier to get a job in America than it would be here.
Or just, whatever it is, right? Yeah, of course. People are going to game the system one way or the other.
Yes.
Always going to happen no matter what.
This is a perfect example of what we were talking about earlier, where like the bureaucracy just gets kind of, what was it? It's like runaway bureaucracy, where you don't want to to be the senator that comes out and closes it because you're where your constituents would be upset. So you don't say anything. It just continues to grow. And now you have a problem. All these people are hurt. Nobody's speaking for them. It just
blew up, and now it's blown up in your face.
Okay, so we can all at least recognize that there is an issue at a border because some people act like there isn't. I think Kamala a little bit has been like, what are you talking about? We've deported the most people.
Well, yeah.
She's like doing protection for Biden when you almost want her to be like, we need it to be stronger.
Well, see, pay attention to what she's doing. And so she said she'd signed that bipartisan bill that Trump said don't do it, that would add 1,500 Border Patrol agents and add all these other features. And Biden actually did this executive order that said, we're going to get the number of people crossing the border down to 1,500, and said that just because you step foot on American soil, which used to be the rule, doesn't give you the right to apply for asylum, which is 180 degrees from where it used to be. And to me, that's making a successful move. That's doing the right thing. And now when you look at the actual numbers, and you guys can actually look up the numbers, the number of border encounters is what they call it now is the same as when Trump left office pre-pandemic. So it's not like what he was doing had better impact. But the question, and here's the zillion-dollar question: what do you do with the people who are already in here? Right. So you saw some of these numbers that Fox News put out that came from, 13,000 murderers and, 16,000 rapists. Yeah. True, factual information. What they didn't say, though, was they didn't just come across the last couple of years. Some of those people that are in the country are in prison, are under indictment, or have been here 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. They're trying to make it sound like this all happened under Biden. It didn't. It didn't. That's part of the bullshit that comes from, like you said, if somebody disagrees with you, they're going to find something to throw at you.
It's easier to make you radioactive than to have like a discussion about your ideas.
Great. They are great.
Both sides are great at that.
Yeah,
like the Democrats just call you racist or sexist or whatever it is, and then the Republicans call you a cuck.
Right.
You're a pussy.
But one comes from the candidate, right? And that's the difference.
Yeah.
So, but now we are where we are. So the question is whether it's 11 million, 13 million, Trump says 21 million people who are not American citizens and aren't supposed to be here. Yeah. What do you do? Trump says you just deport them, but he doesn't say how. And how he does it is everything. Because, can you imagine? Is so-and-so here? Hide. Walk in. Yeah. Remember that, probably before your time, there was a little kid.
Elian Gonzalez.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. Like guns in his face was one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Elian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Do you want every Hispanic neighborhood, every Haitian neighborhood to have 10 Elian Gonzalez's?
Yeah.
He went back, right? Didn't we
he ended up going back,
because he couldn't throw. I think they tested his arm.
He said he was 12 and he was 22.
That was the problem. We're like, the kid is throwing 74 at 12 years old with location. We're like, we got to keep him. We find out he's 32-year-old Dominican guy.
Yeah.
He's not even from Cuba. He's Dominican.
Right? It doesn't matter.
If they find you on a boat off the coast of Florida, just say, I am Cuban.
Right?
I'm bringing you
Mark's my uncle. But think about it. Okay, Elian Gonzalez.
Yeah, that's a bad look to be knocking on every door and sending him back. So you're basically looking at, is there a tasteful way to do it, or do you find a way to not repatriate, but do you find a way to give these people some form of citizenship?
What Harris is saying is, if they're a criminal, you gone.
Yeah.
You gone.
Yeah.
All these, you out.
Yeah.
If you're not a criminal, that asylum process, you have to go through the paperwork and fill out, and we're going to track you on it to make sure it works. Now, she gets a little vague from there, at least as far as what I know.
Yeah.
And so, but Trump, on the other hand, just says, you gone.
And I think that taps into the emotional reaction a lot of people have. Maybe they don't have a job. They've seen their job get passed on to somebody who's not, legally here. They have a lot of issues with it. So they're like, you know what? Fuck you. That guy took my job. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm not arguing with the sentiment. Not at all. Yeah. But you have to think through. If you're an informed voter, you have to think through. What if Elian Gonzalez is everybody? If that's your family, what the fuck are you doing?
What's Trump's approach? How is it different from Obama's approach?
Obama was the deporter in chief. Yeah, he was.
And I remember hearing some of those stories.
No, he didn't just yank him out, but he sent you the paperwork first. And there was a process.
Obama didn't even let his dad come.
He didn't want
Obama
to
sent his dad back.
Go back to Kenya, bro. You can't hoop. Go.
But no, that is, I don't think that we should necessarily like ascribe the term like racist or xenophobic to people who want there to be a strong border. And I think we got to get away from that.
100%.
Yeah.
So there are Democrats that do that, particularly online.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to call you names online just like they call me names, you names, all that shit. But from the presidential candidate, you're only hearing that shit from one side.
Yeah.
You're not hearing it from both sides.
Yeah.
You don't hear her talking shit about anything, about anybody not named JD or Donald.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do think it is up to her to not let those extreme constituents sway her messaging. Because
agree.
Most Americans want, I think, a strong border.
100%.
And if they don't, it's kind of peculiar. You're like, well, why wouldn't you want a strong border?
You know, again, if you think that you're fucking going to get macheted if you don't come, but
we're all immigrant kids here.
Yeah,
we believe in immigration.
I'm a second generation.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for immigration.
I'm second generation.
But you're allowed to have.
There's rules.
Only white people do.
Yeah. White people jobs, right?